Belize is a place where nature has been kind. Just south of Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula, only the size of Massachusetts, it's an exotic paradise. Dense tropical rainforests hide amazing Mayan ruins and shelter pumas, crocodiles, toucans, and monkeys. Here, wildlife is revered. Even the money has pictures of animals on it. In addition, the second longest barrier reef in the world hugs the coast, teeming with enough sea life to make Jacques Cousteau smile.
Belize is a very special place. The environment is very rich here when it comes to the rainforests. We have about 350 native species of birds, all the 5 species of wildcats and many other mammals, and all the marine life in the barrier reefs. We are trying very, very hard to keep some of these areas protected for future generations.
1/3 of Belize is under some form of protected status. There are scores of national parks, sanctuaries, and wildlife preserves, including the only one in the world for jaguars. Belizeans are discovering that it is more profitable to protect the environment than it is to exploit it. Ecotourism is now the largest part of the nation's economy. Fallon Young manages the Community Baboon Sanctuary, a unique conservation project run by local farmers. Baboon, by the way, is the name Belizeans give to black howler monkeys. You usually hear them before you see them.
She's pretty cute. You can come maybe still closer, lower than that, you know, really? Just to show you. Sometimes she perform, you know, what she's going to do.
I can't reach any low. There you go. There you go.
Howler monkeys move through the treetop canopy in troops of 10 to 12. You don't have to travel far within the sanctuary to encounter them. This troop lives right behind the schoolhouse in the center of the village.
I'm curious as to the monkeys. Extraordinary. Within hearing range of the schoolhouse, you must hear them quite a lot.
Well, we are used to it because we grew up with them, so they're not stranger to us.
Nearly all the landowners in the 18-square-mile sanctuary have agreed to leave sections of their land as habitat for the monkeys. Howlers are an endangered species, but the population in the sanctuary has more than doubled in recent years as a result of the agreement.
What we've asked the farmers to do is not to clear cut all the trees right to the river and to abide by certain management or conservation plans that would protect habitats for the monkeys. You know, so that's attracting tourists to come in the area, and local people are getting some economic benefit through it, which encourages them still more to protect areas for the monkeys.
If visiting Belize's sanctuaries is like being in the animal kingdom, diving along its reef is like floating in Fantasyland. Spectacular coral blooms harbor an exotic population. It wasn't always this way. Commercial divers and fishermen harvested these waters intensively for years, exporting seafood by the ton and depleting the resource. Now, tourism is the catch of the day. After fishing these waters for most of his life, Ron Villanueva and his partner started Kitty's Place, a small resort with cabanas to rent right on the beach. For Ron, hammocks have replaced gill nets.
I was fishing mostly for lobster and conch and scalefish. The fisherman was making good money.
You were saying, as a fisherman, you've seen this reef fished out.
Yeah, we went right down. There's a lot to see around it right now. First, before park, you couldn't see nothing around it. So you're sure that things come back if you do take care of it. If you don't take care of it, it goes.
So instead of fishing for export, you're fishing for tourists.
Oh yeah, that's a better catch for me. Yeah.
Old man in the sea, Mehigan, that's right. Eat your heart out.
I've been coming out here from the age of 5 years old. If you grow up as a fisherman, somebody on the sea a lot, like it gets in the blood. So if they move me off here to the desert or inland jungle, I'll slightly perish.
Come over here, up. Here we go. Oh!
Yellowtails.
That's great. Okay, Peter. Megan.
Bring it right at the back here.
Look at that. I'm going to hold that out to make it look even longer. There.
Ron hasn't lost his touch as a diver and fisherman. He knows how to find them, and he knows how to cook them too. Peter, I've had my share of tough assignments, but let me tell you, this was one of the toughest. Southern Belize is the most forested part of the most forested country in Central America. Many consider the tropical jungle here a national treasure, but trouble has come to this environmental paradise. In a secret action that undercuts its public commitment to the environment, the Belizean government has granted long-term logging concessions in the rainforest to Malaysian-controlled timber companies. Now they're gearing up for a massive operation. Charles Wright, a soil scientist and consultant for the United Nations, first surveyed the rainforest here in 1953, when the country was still known as British Honduras. He persuaded the colonial government to set aside the forest as a preserve forever.
It was part of one of the most pristine types of forest that we had in the whole of Central America. But I didn't realize that forest reserve was going to mean something different 50 years later. What is probably going to happen is we're going to go the way of the Guatemalans across the border, where ultimately you go for the money and to heck with the protection of the environment. That's exactly what's happened just over the border in Guatemala. It's just a desert of grass.
The government says logging will remain small scale and do no damage. But there are few government inspectors, and the Malaysians have built the largest sawmill in Central America, suggesting to some that their promise of selective logging will soon give way to large-scale clear-cutting. As much a haven to tropical plants and animals, the rainforest has also been home to Mayan Indians for thousands of years. They still rely on it for their livelihood and worry that massive logging will destroy the forest and their way of life. Santiago Chubb is a leader of the village of Santa Ana. He did not learn about the logging concessions until bulldozers were already ripping through the rainforest outside town.
This place will be totally destroyed. Then we cannot work and we cannot hunt, we can't find nothing. There's nothing right there. We use those lands for corn, we plant corn, rice, and right now as you could go right there, you cannot do nothing because it's damaged. They are destroying our country. We are not getting benefit out of it because it's export that's gone, that will never come back again.
With no written land rights, no recorded titles, and reservations that exist only on paper, the Mayas of Belize have occupied this forest by tradition alone. The government is ignoring their concerns, saying the forest is national property and should be used for commercial timber production. Malaysian officials refused to speak to us about their developing operation, and they escorted us out of the rainforest when we came there to film.
No.
Julian Cho is a school teacher who's leading the fight for Mayan rights in Belize.
The government of Belize has never taken into consideration the rights of Mayas over areas that they have traditionally occupied for centuries. If the land is taken away from them, where will they go? If the land is all turned into logging areas, where will they hunt? Where will they fish? How can they promote their culture without a forest?
Belize's natural resources are a point of national pride and the basis of the tourist trade. The growing tension in the rainforest of southern Belize will test the balance between conservation and commerce. As debate continues, the bulldozers press on.
Promoting an ecotourism, a healthy environment, and destroying the forest, it is incompatible.